Hello, it's Davy Mooney coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. I'm a Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records artist, and the word, y'all. It's, January 7th today. This is coming out January 17th, but you can pre-order. I'll have a link in the description or nearby where you can find a place to pre-order the new record from Sunnyside, me and Ko Omura, my buddy, drummer. Lots of great stuff. John Ellis, Matt Closey, Glenn Zaleski, 5 of my tunes, 5 of Ko's tunes. Really happy about this. Got a great review in the February Downbeat from Bill Milkowski. And my other Sunnyside records, way back. I feel like the last 2 are my favorite in terms of my own performance. So you can check out those and the rest of them. Got a couple Mel Bay books, and I think the phrasing book is done. We'll see. I had to make a few little corrections and rethink a couple things after I first submitted it, but I think it's better now. And let's see what else. It's early January, getting ready to start spring 2025 semester. I'm back from sabbatical. Got to get back into teaching shape. It'll probably take me a few weeks. You know, it's like riding a bicycle, like riding a unicycle. But let's see what else. Yeah, not too much. Other than I wanted to talk about the tune "Tones for Joan's Bones," great Chick Corea song, and I've got a lot of history with this tune because I was down in Brazil over the holiday, and I found in my my wife's parents' apartment some cassette tapes that I guess I had made for my wife Angela. You know, back in the day we used to make tapes. You would dub tapes for, you know, if you liked somebody or even a friend, you know, like check out this music. You'd make a mixtape of different stuff, or you'd, you know, dub them the whole album. And yeah, I found these, were they 90 minutes or 120 minutes? I don't know, but they had like a record on each side. So one was like, so a lot of Bill Evans stuff, like Everybody Digs Bill Evans and on one side, Intermodulation on the other side, Moonbeams on one side, Billy Strayhorn, The Peaceful Side on the other side of the tape. And then one of them, I have to confess, I had put my senior recital from UNT, which I believe must have been in the fall of 2000. My gosh, with my buddy Scott Traeger. We did our recitals together. It's funny because I go to so many of them here now, and I supervise, you know, my guitar players when they're seniors. But on the reason I'm mentioning all this is the first song that I did on that recital was "Tones for Joan's Bones," back in the fall of 2000. So you can do the math of how long ago that's been. And I was listening to it a little bit, you know, I didn't want to, it's kind of weird to hear yourself 25 years ago. But yeah, it was interesting, you know, it sounded pretty good. Like I had a concept. It's funny because I listened back to that and I'm like, yeah, you had a concept going on. And then the years kind of chew you up and spit you out, you know, and the concept gets kind of lost. And I feel like I'm starting to get back to it a little bit. Hopefully it's a little better. But it's funny too, you know, I hear so much of the Steve Masakowski influence, especially back then when I was, 19 or 20. I guess I turned 20. And, you know, because he recorded this song on the album Friends, I believe in the mid-'80s. And so it's funny, I sound a lot like him, but then I can hear myself trying to go beyond what he does, and that's kind of where I get in trouble, because I didn't have enough together of my own thing. So you hear like, oh, it sounds like Steve, and then it's like, well, what are you doing there? And I remember, even though it's 25 years, just sort of trying to get outside of, you know, you have a mentor or someone that you're copying, and hopefully you want to add a little bit of yourself, but it's tricky, right? Because oftentimes the people that we're copying have a really clear concept of the music and how to present themselves. And so, and as a 20-year-old, few of us do ourselves. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. And I started thinking about what a great song this is. A Chick Corea tune, I believe he recorded it in 1966, according to Wikipedia. There was a record called "Tones for Joan's Bones" that I think came out a couple of years after that, with Steve Swallow, Joe Chambers maybe on drums, I think. And then also there's a Blue Mitchell record called "Boss Horn," which is funny. I don't know what's up with the word boss. You got boss guitar, you got a lot of boss stuff going on. I guess it's a 60s thing. the Blue Mitchell record's really cool with the horn arrangements, and he does, I think it's the same year with Chick on piano, and that's really nice. And then, of course, the Masakowski version, which is where I first heard the song, with Rick Margitza and Bill Huntington and Herlin Riley and I believe Michael Polera on that. Ellis Marsalis is on some tunes on that record. But just a great song. It's really interesting, because I knew the Steve version, he doesn't do the intro. There's this sort of like halftime intro, like an E minor 9, and then kind of an E minor 7 flat 5, and then he goes into the song. Kind of interesting. It almost reminds me of some of the Wayne Shorter intros to tunes like on Speak No Evil, where you're like, the tune doesn't seem to have that much to do with the intro, and then it never comes back to the intro. But it's a really cool song. So the way I learned it, and I've been listening to not every version, I found there's an Ahmad Jamal version with Gary Burton, and it's really interesting, from the 80s. Really fast. You wouldn't think that. But basically you've got D major with this melody, and then all this over a D pedal, like a G minor 13, or I guess you could think of call it a B flat major 7 sharp 11 over D, and then kind of a D7 altered. And I hear on the Chick version, he stays on this D7. A lot of other versions will go from D7 to then F7 to B flat major. But I find that the Chick one with Steve Swallow on bass, he doesn't leave that D note, so you kind of have like a D7 altered or D7 flat 9. And then, sorry. It's like I think I know this song, I think I have it memorized, but then I realized that I knew it really well 25 years ago, and things tend to get a little foggy after the first 17 years, y'all. But I don't play it that much anymore. But so yeah, Chick has that D7 altered going to B flat, and other people go D7 altered, then they sneak in a little F7 to B flat to make it be a 5-1. But I mean, the relationship D7 flat 9 goes to G minor, right? And G minor and B flat major, relative minor. That's a really close relationship. Also, if you think of like a diminished scale, an F7, F half whole diminished, it's the same as D whole diminished. So there's that minor third relationship between those two chords. But it was interesting in playing over it. I wanted to go to the F7, but I feel like the D7 is really kind of a cool sound of just staying on D7 and making the D7 go to B flat. And then he has this little walk down of B flat major, E flat minor, G flat major, F7, which is kind of cool. So you got then B flat minor 7 flat 5. Remember the melody. E flat 7 flat. Is that what it is? So the minor 2/5 to A flat minor. A flat minor over G flat. And I used to play F minor 7 flat 5 there, but listening to Chick and Blue Mitchell, it's really kind of like F7 over F. I'm sorry, B flat 7 over F. So you have like then E major 7, which is kind of cool, rather than just like a 2/5, rather than F minor 7 flat 5 to E major, because then it resolves to E flat major, to have like a B7 flat 9 over F, or F diminished. And then there's another section, that's kind of like the first section of the tune. I don't know, how many bars is that? Let's see, I never count the bars before these videos, but let's see, 4, 8, 12, 16. Hey, there you go. So I think of that as like the A section almost, because then you have this part where it gets kind of more modal, and you have like a E flat major 7, G flat major 7, or sort of parallel major 7 chords moving, then F major 7, A flat major 7, 7, C major 7, E flat major 7, sharp 11, and then D flat minor. And some people sneak in an A7 to get back to D major, but again on that Chick version, I'm just hearing he stays on the D flat minor, and you kind of have D flat being a leading tone to go back to D major for sort of another quasi A section. But yeah, that's a really cool kind of modal thing that he throws in there. Maybe reminiscent of Windows a little bit from the same era, where you have the real functional harmony with, like, you know, moving bass lines, you know, that sort of, sorry, what was I talking about? Yeah, you know, we have the 2/5 to A flat minor, G flat, B flat 7 over F, very tonal functional harmony, and then this more sort of whimsical modal part. D flat major 7, D flat minor major 7. And then you can sneak an A7 in, Masakowski and them sneak an A7 in, but Chick stays on the D flat. Interesting, the Blue Mitchell version, I swear he goes, to a B flat minor 11 there instead of D flat minor. So that's pretty interesting. Didn't hear that anywhere else. But I guess maybe you could think of it as maybe it's a B flat minor 7 flat 5, and so it's kind of the same harmony. Although I don't really hear any kind of flat 5 going on. But it's always variations, y'all. Then another A section, right? You got D major 7. I'll screw up this melody. Same thing, except this time when you get to B flat major, you don't really do the walk down. You kind of just stay on B flat. Although on the original version, the one time Swallow, at least on the head out, he does the walk down again, while Chick stays on the B flat. I don't know if that was a mistake, but you know, who knows? Sometimes the mistakes are the coolest part on these tunes. So you got 2 bars of B flat, and then another section where you have E minor 11 to A7. This one that reminds me a lot of Windows. Wait, I'm getting confused. I'm gonna play this melody. Yeah, so it's E minor 11, A7, E minor, maybe A7 with the A sharp diminished leading tone to B minor, to E7, and then this kind of cool. That part kind of reminds me a little bit of a very early Bill Evans tune. In the last section of very early, we have a similar kind of diatonic walk up, but those chords are, so after you go to E minor 7, E minor 11, A7, A sharp diminished, B minor to E7, then you have E minor, F sharp minor, and then F minor. It's a cool little modulation to E flat, F minor 6, B flat 13, then E flat major, D minor, C minor, F7. So again, shades of Windows, shades of very early, and that mixture of real diatonic functional harmony in with the modal stuff. And then the last part, E minor 7, F sharp minor 7, G major 7, just going up that, really the D major scale, A7, and then A9, E flat major 7. And again, I never count the bars, y'all, I'm sorry. So let's see, I think it's an even number of bars. 4, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so the last part, it's like a little coda. You have, the last section is 12 bars instead of 8 bars. So it's kind of like 16, kind of an A section, or you could divide it like A, B, C, A, D, maybe, you know, a 16-bar section-ish, or an 8-bar, 2 8-bar sections. Then the modal section in the middle, it's 8 bars. And then 8-bar section that's kind of like the first part, but you don't have, when you get to B flat, you don't descend really, unless you're Steve Swallow. And then this last part, which really the character kind of changes. So yeah, that's what I remember of it, and like I said, I checked it. You know, there's a couple charts. It's in the original real book. You know, I get nostalgic about that. And I also found like another fake book that had it in there pretty accurately. It's funny how sometimes those fake books have the super modern tunes more accurate than the standards. But this is kind of a modern jazz standard, I guess. Maybe not so much as Windows. But anyway, playing on it, you know, you got that sort of vibe of D major. I play a lot of pentatonic stuff on this, like F sharp minor pentatonic over the D major, and then when it goes to this, I'm thinking G minor. And in that case, you know, sometimes I'll make it G Dorian. Sometimes I'll make it G melodic minor-ish, you know, kind of depending on how I feel. And then it's kind of D Mixolydian or D7 alter. So, but it's kind of that modal mixture you kind of get in Wayne's music of maybe, I want to call it D Ionian and then sort of D Aeolian, right? Or the relevant melodic minor mode and then kind of D dominant 7. Maybe even like G harmonic minor, I don't know, because sometimes I make it go from D7 to F7 before I go to B flat, but then listening to Chick, I kind of want to keep it D7. I don't remember what I did when I just played on it. And then you have the B flat, A flat minor, G flat, F7, which is interesting because you got to be careful when you're on the B flat, because some of those notes on the B flat major are going to continue to work on A flat minor, G flat major, but then some of them aren't. So like F works on all those notes. D, you probably got to go either down a half step or up a half step. Remember, you're always one half step away from the right note. So you could use some guide tones or some negative guide tones. Or kind of like Have You Met Miss Jones, right? When you're at the bridge, you got B flat major, then you got to get to G flat real quick. Then just a minor 2/5 in A flat minor. And then I always thought of it as like also like a minor 2/5 to E flat, but F minor 7 flat 5, E major 7, E flat major. But I think that chord is really like a B flat 7, so I don't know if I ever play that because I have it in my muscle memory and whatever my 25-year-old memory of playing this tune a lot, that it's an F minor 7 flat 5 there. But if you have and I like it so much better as B flat 7 over F. Then when you have that middle modal section where you're moving around major 7 chords, it's definitely like I think of pentatonics a lot. Also, you know, E flat major to G flat major is like kind of like E flat major to E flat minor, right? And then F major to A flat major is like F major to F minor. Then C major to E flat major is like C major to C minor in terms of pentatonics too. So if you're going then to D flat minor, major 7 or just D flat minor. So yeah, I just have little and again I'm thinking of kind of like I talk about in Into the Labyrinth. I have little grips for all those chords in different parts of the neck. So if I'm trying to play it all right here, I have E flat major 7. There's the G flat major 7. There's F major 7. Here's A flat major, C, E flat. There's D flat minor. And in different parts of the neck, E flat, G flat, F, A flat major, C major, E flat major, D flat minor. And I can do that in any part of the neck. It's also cool, if you want to go. Just play like little major pentatonics on each chord. I won't tell anyone if you do that. That's cool. All right, then the next part, it's like the first part, D major, G minor over D, D7, altered, maybe F7, and then you just chill on B flat for a second. Just real kind of like a standard for a second, right? E minor, A7, B minor, E7, very functional. You don't have to play both of those chords. You could just think like, you could just think E minor and then up a half step. E minor for a bar, then a half step, a 2/5 to E flat. Then, when he's doing all those walk downs and diatonic motion within the key, I don't feel like I have to play every chord. So E flat, D minor, C minor, F7. I might want to catch the F7. So in that sequence, I might have E minor, all those chords. I might go like. Catch like an A natural to catch the F7. And then same thing, E minor. Rather than going E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A7, E flat, I might just play E minor, A7, E flat. Because there's so many chords in this tune that you kind of do have to deal with, right? You have to deal with E flat, G flat, F, A flat, C, E flat, D flat minor, all that movement in the chords. So if you there's a way you can simplify it when it's moving diatonically, I think that's a good policy. That really reminds me of very early. I got to redo my very early video, y'all. I feel like I could have done a better job on that one. But anyway, so that's Tones for Joan's Bones, and I got to start playing it again. It's been too long, but it was a nice little trip down memory lane to see those tapes, cassette tapes. They still play too. I mean, they're a little bit noisy after 20-something years. I must have made them like in 2001 or something, 2002. So, Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to play a few choruses on Tones for Joan's Bones, and happy 2025, everybody. Check out the word. We'll be here soon. Bye.